Well, it's best song ever. Not a podcast better. Tunes are cool and the jokes are clever. It's a worthwhile endeavor.
Welcome to Best Song Ever. I'm your host, Luke LeBen, and I am back here with another album ranking. I did this for Kendrick Lamar's GNX, and I am here on Tier Maker, and today I will be ranking the songs on Clipse's new album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. Clipse is the brother duo of Pusha T and Malice, formerly No Malice, and this album is produced by Pharrell Williams, as Push says on Grindin'. Pharrell keeps talking that music shit, and he certainly does on this album. This is one of my favorite albums of the year. It may be my favorite one. The time I've been spending with it, I think, might be pushing it into that number one spot. And I like doing these album rankings because I like to talk about which songs are the ones that are kind of bringing me back, revisiting the album constantly. So let's get into it. Here is my ranking of the songs on Clipse's Let God Sort 'Em Out. All right, so the first track, The Birds Don't Sing, I'm going to put this into A. This features John Legend, and it is a really beautiful, heartbreaking song. It is about the passing of both of their parents 4 months apart and their conversations with them before they passed away. And so it's a heartbreaking but beautiful song. I think it is one of the great tracks in the album. I'm putting it an A. It's not really the ones that's bringing me back that much, but it, I think, is really important and kind of shows a growth and evolution to Clipse where they're not just all coke bars. They're not just talking about drug dealing and, you know, coming up and making money and stuff like that, which a lot of the album is that. And we love them for that. That's what we want from them. But this shows some depth and a little bit of an evolution because, you know, they're more mature now. They're grown men with families. And so it's kind of shows that this is a new era of Clipse right off the bat. Then we got track 2, Chains and Whips. This is my first S tier. This is an incredible song. Got a feature from Kendrick Lamar. Great verse from him where he does this run where everything is like Gen, and he's a Gemini. It's frankly astonishing the way he finds more things to say. My favorite is, you want the tea on me? Well, here's the ginger root. I generate residuals. Get off my genitals. Pretty great stuff from Kendrick there. But awesome verses from Push and Malice as well. The sort of wordplay, it's like a quadruple entendre saying beat the system with chains and whips. Like chains that you wear, whips that you drive, cars, but then it's also like a reference to the horrible past of slavery with chains and whips, but it's talking about this liberation through success and money. It's some brilliant writing, and great beat that reminds me kind of of Nostalgia, which was that Kendrick feature on a previous Pusha T album. Great guitar part and bass line, so really enjoy that one. Definitely an S tier. And then right after it, track 3, POV, that's going in S tier too. Tyler, the Creator, with an incredible verse on this one, and just a great kind of brooding beat from Pharrell, and so many great verses on here. This those two, Chains and Whips and POV, are probably two of the ones that keep me coming back, and I'll just start at Chains and Whips and POV and then end up just keep listening to the album. Then track 4, we got So Be It. I'm going to put this one in B tier. Has a cool sample that's this singer with some violin. Has a very cool video. Not one of my favorites. It's good, but it's not one of the ones that keeps me coming back. Maybe it's just not the most variety in the beat, which some of these other ones kind of mix it up and surprise you in other ways. But decent song. Still some great verses on it. Some great lyrics from Push and Malice. And yeah, the video is very cool, black and white, and it's just like shot really cool, but not one of my favorites. Ace Trumpets, track 5. That is an A tier. That one, similar to So Be It. This one grew on me a little. I kind of skipped over it, but came back to it, and it's got sort of this like twinkling chorus, and then the verses all just like big fat brooding bass, and some interesting lyrics going on. It's sort of like reflecting on different times throughout their life, and of course sort of talking about the success and where they've come. And so this was like the lead single. Not quite S tier for me, but it's good, and it's one that I found myself coming back to. My first D one is going to be track 6, All Things Considered. You know, there's not really a bad song on this album, but this is the closest to it. I just don't love sort of the melody of the chorus that Pharrell sings, and then the beat is kind of this like do 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 do. Just not really a melody that I love. I'm a fan of melody, and I do pay attention to the lyrics a lot. So this one just I appreciate it. I like the vibe it's bringing, the sort of spooky sound, but not one that really gets stuck in my head. But then moving on to track 7, MTBTTF. That is an S tier. That stands for Mike Tyson Blow to the Face. I've been coming back to this one a lot, and it has a really interesting structure where the first parts of their verses are just no beat. There is one little sample that like loops, but it's mainly just their vocals before the beat sort of kicks in. And I believe this is the song where you get the lyric, the Bezos of the nasal. A lot of great Coke bars on this, and you know, they're very Christian, Malice especially, and so he talks about like God a lot, which is interesting, and drops some of those in here. I think this is the one where he also says, in the Bugatti in my denim. I was telling my wife, it made me think of her because she has a very cool denim dress, and I was like, you're just like Malice, except for in a Honda rather than a Bugatti, but no shame in that. But yeah, this is one I keep coming back to. So many great lines when Push says, white slave master souls in my safe. And then, of course, she wanted Mike Tyson Blow to the Face. I'm talking 96 Hove with the bass. Reference to Jay-Z, as well as a double entendre of bass, guitar, and bass, as in crack. Next up, track 8, Ibida. That's going to go in A. This one is close. I almost put this in S tier, maybe because it comes right after Mike Tyson Blow to the Face, that I will just listen to these ones back to back. But this one has a cool, like, bassy driving beat with these like choral vocals playing in the background, and talking about, I don't even remember what EBITDA stands for. It's some financial shit. Earnings is the E. I know that much. But that's a pretty good one that gets stuck in my head for sure. But then going on to FICO, track 9, that's another S tier. This is one of the ones I've been listening to a lot. It's got this great like sample going on with these big drums, but I love the parts, like there's one part where the beat just sort of switches up and goes into these sort of glitchy sounding drums with just like the big bass. Like some of the other stuff drops out and you get kind of like a more focused part of the beat. And when it happens during Malice's verse is my favorite, because he's just been going and he's got so many great lines, and then you think it's going to be over and then it switches up into this switched up beat, and it's some great stuff. Next up, track 10, Inglourious Bastards. Put that in B. It's a pretty good one. Got this like horn and drum beat, kind of stripped down, mainly like drum beat. It's kind of cool. Got a verse with Abliva, who is a longtime collaborator of Clipse. pretty decent one. I've been listening to this a pretty good amount, but it's not the one that is really driving me to revisit the album like Mike Tyson Blow to the Face or FICO are. But yeah, that whole run really from Mike Tyson Blow to the Face to the next song I'm about to talk about, all those are pretty solid. You're going to have a pretty good time listening to those 5 songs. My final S tier, So Far Ahead. Love this one so much. You get a chorus sung by Pharrell. You get this gospel-y beat that in the chorus, and then it turns into just this sort of badass bassy verse. And I love Push's opening line where he says, "Swerving through the lane, serving cane, never hit a pothole." And this is one of these sort of reflective ones that you get throughout the album, because like they do talk about sort of being aging hip hop icons in this throughout this, and sort of reflect on their time selling drugs and them coming up in the music industry. And so this one is so good, So Far Ahead and Make Us Behind, and just talking about how they're sort of these trendsetters, and really incredible track. This is one, probably the first one that kept me coming back. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Bit of a difference from a lot of the songs on the album. A little less spooky until you get to the verse, but just so great. And, love to hear Pharrell singing on that chorus. It's a great chorus. Then we got the title track, Let God Sort 'Em Out /Chandeliers. And I'm going to put that in B. I was thinking C, but, the Nas verse at the end kind of saves it. The first part is just kind of, I don't really love the verse, or I don't really love the beat, and the verse is not the most memorable. And so I feel like I just kind of zone out for the first half. And then when Nas comes in and the beat switches up, it's like, okay, this is pretty decent. So, we'll put that one in C. Title track, but not certainly one of the strongest songs on the album. By the Grace of God, put that in C. Not really one I come back to a lot, but does have that similar gospel feel as So Far Ahead. And it's them talking about like how they survived by the grace of God and how they've come this far by the grace of God. Like I said, Malice, very religious. Push as well has some lines where you're like, okay, I can see that you guys are kind of religious. As someone who was raised in the church, I don't really resonate with that as much, but I appreciate it for them. And I kind of love that juxtaposition with this love of God and then this sort of like excess of like money, drugs, strippers, all this. They're kind of juxtaposed and at odds, but then like for them, it's not. Like when you hear Malice talk about it, you're like, yeah, God did ordain this. And so it works. And I feel like this is it's a good album closer. You have another sung chorus by Pharrell, not as good as So Far Ahead in my opinion, but still, Pharrell's a goat, and it's always good to hear him singing. And these songs, these beats throughout this album are some incredible production, some of his finest work. And, on Pusha T's last album, I actually liked some of the songs that were more produced by He Who Shall Not Be Named, even though he's mentioned in a couple songs. But I didn't really love the ones by Pharrell as much, but now I feel like I should go back and listen because appreciating his production a lot more on this one for sure. So there you go. I got 5 S tiers, 3 A and B tiers, 1 C and 1 D. But really, you can't go wrong listening to any of these songs on this album. It's been a favorite of mine, may take my album of the year spot. And I highly recommend the Tiny Desk concert with Clipse. They play some of their classic songs, but then they play Birds Don't Sing and Chains and Whips, and it's really great. Their drummer like walks away from the drum set and starts drumming on the desk at one point, which is really cool, and just very fun, great performance. One of the best Tiny Desk concerts I feel like I've seen. And they talk about their parents when they're doing the Birds Don't Sing and get really emotional. It's quite beautiful. So yeah, highly recommend checking that out. So there you go. That is my ranking of the songs on Clipse's Let God Sort 'Em Out. If you disagree with me, pop your ranking in the comments of this video or go on to Tier Maker. You can find this exact tier and do your own ranking. And now it's time to talk about all the music I've been obsessed with in Touts.
Totes.
Handful of good things came out recently. We got Hayley Williams with Ego, which is apparently not an album. It's just 17 singles, which is kind of cool. Kind of a cool idea. But then also, like, I had to make a playlist to listen to them all. So, like, it would be nice to put it out as an album if you're going to do a collection of singles. But the album art's really cool. It's all, like, black and white with little yellow things added for each song, and they're all different. So that's cool. I like that kind of unified marketing throughout different singles, and so that I liked that. And True Believer is the one track where she talks about, like, the South will not rise again. They gave Jesus a white face. Very cool song I've seen being talked about on TikTok a lot. And so I actually haven't listened to all of them yet. I need to dig into those more. But the ones I've heard been really solid. So love Hayley Williams from Paramore. Really enjoyed her solo albums. And so cool to see new music from her. We got Quadeca with Vanisher Horizon Scraper. Sounded very cool, kind of like Alex G-ish at times, but then he kind of raps at times, and very cool. He's shown up on Kevin Abstract's recent album and heard his name before, but never really checked out his stuff, and I really enjoyed this one. Then we got Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist with Alfredo 2, follow up to their album from a handful of years ago, Alfredo. That was very good when I was checking it out. Still need to spend some more time with it, but Freddie Gibbs, awesome. If you like Clipse, definitely good follow-up to that album. Then we got a handful of EPs. I guess it's EP season. We got The Voids, which is Julian Casablancas from the Strokes side project, with Megs of Ram. Very synthy 80s, very fun and strange effects going on there, so enjoyed that. Domogenesis and Grey Matter with World Gone Mad. Some great sort of like sample-based hip-hop, some great like horns going on. If you like Inglorious Bastards from the Clipse album, this is a good one to check out too. Dog Race, Return of the Day. Listened to them previously on this podcast, played one of their songs, so good to see a new EP from them. And then Missouri Executive Order 44 with Split 7-inch. I heard this from Fantano doing like an album roundup. Checked it out. Some very hardcore noise rock, but it was pretty cool. And now time to talk about the new Music Friday releases I'm excited for in Shouts. There's actually a lot coming out this week. We got Jid, great rapper, with God Does Like Ugly. Huh. It should be God Do Make Junk. And then Ada Lee with When I Paint My Masterpiece. Might be playing a song from her coming up, but I've heard a couple singles from this and they're very good. Kind of like folky, chill rock. Enjoy it a lot. So excited for that one to come out. Anamanaguchi with Anyway. Just heard of this band. They've got a great rock sound. I'm excited to check it out. I actually only listened to one of the singles because I was like, this sounds cool and the album's about to come out, so I'm just not even going to listen to more. Then we got the Black Keys with No Rain, No Flowers. Love the Black Keys. Their releases are sometimes hit or miss, but see, maybe this one hits. Ethel Cain with Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You. Like some of Ethel Cain's previous stuff. Amaray with Black Star. Amaray, who sings like this in a very high voice. She's fun, though. I like her. My wife does not enjoy her sound. Those vocals does not work for her. Good old Baby Metal with Metal Fourth. I like that. Baby Metal. Did I play them? No, I don't know if I played them. I played another band like them, but always enjoyed their stuff, so that'll be good to check out. Field Medic with Surrender Instead. Like this guy, was on Samia's remix album and enjoyed some of his past stuff. Sort of like chill, sleepy, folky rock too. And then Good Charlotte with Motel Du Cap. Hey, the anthem was my jam back in the day, so interested to see what new Good Charlotte sounds like. And that's going to do it for me this week. We're Planet Ant Podcast, powered by Pinecast. Head over to planetant.com. If you're in Michigan, go check out their theater in Hamtramck, Michigan. Always got live comedy and improv going on there, as well as music going on in the Ghostlight. And then offshelf.net. Check it out. It's on the internet. Great columns and interviews over there. And I don't just talk about music. I make the stuff. You can find me at Indie Darling Music on all streaming services and social media. And that's going to do it for me this week. This is the best song ever. Let God Sort 'Em Out.
Well, it's best song ever. Not a podcast better. The jokes are clever and the tunes are cool. It's worth while endeavor. It's best song ever.
This has been a production of Planet Ant Podcast, powered by Pinecast.